if I'm able to deliver one thing, one unknowable detail, one piece of information that validates to a person that there is more to life than what we see, then that is worth any skepticism I face, any backlash.
Behind Tyler Henry's calm presence and remarkable psychic readings lies a life shaped by far more than fame. Long before becoming Hollywood's most recognizable medium, he endured devastating loss, serious health crises, and years of rejection that few people ever witnessed. How did someone known for bringing others comfort end up carrying so much pain himself? His journey reveals a heartbreaking reality, where extraordinary abilities came with sacrifices few could ever imagine. The gift that changed everything. Tyler Henry's life took an unexpected turn long before anyone recognized his name. Around the age of 10, he experienced something that would forever separate him from the lives of other children. Without understanding why, he sensed that his grandmother was going to die. When his father later confirmed her passing, the realization left him stunned. What seemed impossible had become painfully real, and it marked the beginning of a journey he never asked for. At that age, Tyler had no explanation for what had happened. He wasn't searching for psychic abilities or trying to understand the supernatural. Instead, he was a child struggling to process an experience that made little sense. Rather than bringing comfort, the event filled him with confusion, raising questions that no one around him seemed able to answer. As time passed, similar impressions and unexplained feelings continued to surface. Slowly, Tyler realized that the first experience hadn't been an isolated event. While most children spent their youth worrying about school, hobbies, and friendships, he found himself wrestling with experiences that were impossible to discuss openly. The growing awareness of these abilities made it increasingly difficult to relate to those around him, leaving him caught between an ordinary childhood and an extraordinary reality. That sense of isolation only grew stronger as he entered his teenage years. Raised in California's San Joaquin Valley, Tyler lived in a community where his experiences often sparked suspicion instead of understanding. His abilities challenged deeply held beliefs, particularly within the religious environment that surrounded him. While a handful of people considered his experiences a genuine spiritual gift, others viewed them with fear or outright rejection, creating an emotional divide that became difficult to escape. School offered little relief. Middle school became one of the most challenging periods of his life, as he struggled not only with classmates who saw him as different, but also with accepting a part of himself that he never expected to carry. The loneliness wasn't simply about being misunderstood. It came from realizing that few people could truly understand the reality he lived with every day. High school brought many of the same struggles. Doubts from others and constant skepticism continued to follow him, reinforcing the feeling that he existed between two very different worlds. Yet those difficult years also forced Tyler to confront an important truth. Before anyone else could accept who he was, he first had to accept himself. That personal journey became one of the hardest lessons of his life, and eventually laid the foundation for the career that would make him famous. Still, learning to embrace his gift didn't erase the pain that came with it. The emotional scars of rejection remained, quietly shaping how he viewed both himself and the world around him. And while those invisible wounds were difficult enough, an even greater challenge was already waiting, one that would test not only his resilience, but also his ability to survive. The cost of living between two worlds. Just as Tyler Henry was learning to live with an ability that few people understood, another series of challenges threatened to change his life forever. This time, the struggle had nothing to do with the spiritual world. It was his own body that would repeatedly place him in danger. Tyler's health battles began before he ever became a public figure. Born 3 months premature, he entered the world facing obstacles that would continue well into adulthood. As the years passed, those early complications evolved into a series of frightening medical emergencies, forcing him to confront mortality at an age when most people rarely think about it. One of the most critical moments came shortly after his 18th birthday. He was rushed to the hospital after developing hydrocephalus caused by an arachnoid brain cyst. The blockage prevented cerebrospinal fluid from flowing properly, creating dangerous pressure inside his skull. Emergency brain surgery became the only option. Although the procedure was successful and his recovery was swift, the experience served as a sobering reminder that life could change without warning. Years later, Tyler underwent another brain operation after doctors discovered a colloid cyst near the center of his brain. Remaining optimistic, he reassured supporters, expressed gratitude, and promised to return to the work he loved. His health challenges extended beyond neurological issues. Near the end of 2019, Tyler suffered a collapsed lung that required emergency surgery and kept him hospitalized for nearly 3 weeks. Doctors later discovered extensive damage to his lungs, including multiple air leaks that made reinflation especially difficult. Tyler has since shared that he believes the illness may have been linked to COVID-19 after both he and his family experienced unusually severe symptoms before the pandemic was widely recognized. Repeated brushes with death inevitably shaped the way Tyler viewed both life and his unusual profession. Each medical crisis reinforced how fragile life could be, giving even deeper meaning to the conversations he regularly had about loss, hope, and mortality. Yet, surviving these ordeals did not shield him from another painful reality. As his profile grew through television and celebrity readings, admiration arrived hand in hand with relentless criticism. The world that embraced his gift would also become the very one determined to question it. But while public skepticism was difficult to endure, the deepest heartbreak of Tyler's life wasn't waiting in a hospital room or on a television stage. It would come through the people he loved most, leaving emotional wounds that no amount of success could ever fully heal. The hidden pain that still follows him. By the time Tyler Henry became one of Hollywood's most recognizable mediums, many people believed his greatest challenge was convincing skeptics that his abilities were real. While public criticism certainly followed his success, those debates were far easier to face than the heartbreak he carried in private. One of the deepest wounds of Tyler's life came through the loss of his close friend and first love, Terry, who died from brain cancer. What made the experience especially painful was Tyler's belief that he had sensed what was coming long before Terry passed away. Instead of making the loss easier to bear, that awareness became an emotional burden. Tyler has openly admitted that he distanced himself from Terry during his final days because he struggled to cope with what he believed was inevitable. Looking back, it became one of the greatest regrets he has ever carried. That tragedy revealed a painful truth about his gift. Being able to sense death did not protect him from grief. If anything, it made the experience even more complicated. While countless people sought Tyler's guidance to find peace after losing loved ones, he was quietly wrestling with the same heartbreak he helped others navigate. The line between his own emotions and the pain of those around him often became difficult to separate. Coming out as gay became an ongoing journey for Tyler, requiring repeated conversations, even with family. Acceptance was not immediate, and balancing his identity, public career, and personal responsibilities demanded remarkable resilience throughout his life. As his career continued to grow, Tyler developed ways to protect his emotional well-being. He learned to compartmentalize, creating mental boundaries that allowed him to carry out readings without becoming consumed by every story he encountered. Even so, he has acknowledged that the connection never completely disappears. Rather than switching it off, he has explained that he can only quiet it, living with what feels like a constant awareness that few people could truly understand. Another unexpected chapter unfolded during his Netflix series, when a DNA investigation uncovered shocking secrets within his own family. Tyler learned that the woman who had raised his mother was not her biological mother, but an abusive criminal serving life sentences for murder. Ironically, despite claiming to connect with countless spirits, he had never sensed the presence of his own biological grandmother. It was a discovery that challenged even his own understanding of the unseen. Through devastating loss, repeated health crises, public skepticism, and deeply personal revelations, Tyler Henry's story has never been defined solely by his extraordinary abilities. Instead, it has become a testament to resilience, reminding us that the people who spend their lives helping others heal are often carrying invisible wounds of their own. Behind every remarkable reading is a man still learning to live with grief, uncertainty, and hope, and perhaps that is the most extraordinary part of his story. Thank you for watching. If Tyler Henry's remarkable journey moved you, be sure to subscribe for more inspiring stories. Share your thoughts in the comments, and watch another video with us.